Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. So we got the quarterly update a little bit earlier than I usually see it. I think they've been ahead of schedule as it comes to the quarterly updates, and today we're going to be going over the quarterly update together. We're going to talk about it. I'm gonna read it. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you my thoughts. For those of you who are at work, hey, you can listen to it while you're not doing your job. I won't tell anybody. I promise. I won't tell anybody you're not doing your job. Just, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Because if you don't hit the up button, I might actually call your boss and be like, your employee Jeff was listening to a Diablo IV podcast like all day long, and he never actually did any work. Demons. Give me just a second here. I'm going to drop some links, and then we're going to get started into this. Diablo 4 quarterly update. I think that's good enough. So I think this is going to answer a lot of questions that a lot of people may have had about Diablo 4, especially given Diablo Immortal being so money grubbing, I think would be the correct term. That a lot of people may be interested to find out whether or not Diablo 4 is going to be money grubbing. I think it's still up in the air for a lot of people because, obviously Blizzard really didn't directly make Diablo Immortal. It was actually made by a Chinese company called NetEase, which is I think a subsidiary of Tencent, which is a huge multi-billion-dollar free-to-play conglomerate company over there in China. Whereas Diablo 4 is not going to have any hands in it from China, so at the very least we don't have any hands kind of squishing in with Diablo 4 from alternative sources. Not to say that Blizzard didn't have any bad choices on their own, which they very well may have, just that we won't have to worry about Tencent, or rather NetEase, having their hands in the cookie jar, so to speak. Although who knows, they may have had some ill-adverse effects in the long run on the company as a whole. Who knows? Just one more link here, and I think we're ready to go. One more linkage. All right, let's get started in this. I wanted to give everybody a chance to show up before I just started reading. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, this is a live stream. Some people actually need to show up before, I just start ranting about stuff. It's kind of important to, give people a minute or two to get here and actually join in the party. But I think we're ready. All right. So, Diablo 4 quarterly update, August 2022. Hello and welcome to our third Diablo 4 quarterly update of 2022. We hope you enjoyed last quarter's dive into the playstyles of our final launch class, the Necromancer. That blog and our previous updates can be read here if you missed out. I also have a video on that if you'd like to see it. Today we'll be talking about some of what's coming to Diablo 4 after the game ships. This is often referred to as a live service, and we have ambitious plans here. Our Associate Game Director for Live Service, Joseph Piora, hope I didn't murder your name, sir, and our Director of Product, Keegan Clark, are here to talk details. Everything they describe is in addition to delivering the complete Diablo 4 experience, the rich endgame features you expect at launch, and regular expansions that continue the story. Many of you enjoy the seasons in Diablo 2 Resurrected and Diablo 3 and have asked for more extensive season support. We agree one of the most fun ways to play Diablo is through seasons, so we're making the first one available soon after launch and building a dedicated team to bring you up to 4 seasons a year, each with a major new features, quest lines, enemies, legendary items, and more. Diablo IV seasons are modeled after those of Diablo III. When a new season begins, all characters from the prior season are moved to the Eternal Realm, where you can keep playing, leveling up, and collecting loot. To play in the new season, you'll create a fresh character and experience the new seasonal features and content while leveling up alongside other players. This, along with capping Paragon points in Diablo IV, ensures that your effort and skill, measured by both dexterity and theory crafting, determine how powerful your character becomes. It also allows players who missed the last season to participate. So this is a big thing, and I think I need to pause here for a minute. For those of you who may not have ever actually played an MMO, one of the biggest and most ridiculous drawbacks of an MMO is that you can fall behind. And if you fall behind in an MMO, sometimes it is almost impossible to catch up with your friends. In some MMOs, it's actually so bad that if you fall behind by too much, you might as well just give up, because you're never going to catch them. Because as fast as you can go, they are also going, and they will continually leave you in the dust at every opportunity. And it's not necessarily because they want to, they're just trying to keep up with the content. It's just simply because since there is this constant never-ending grind toward an end goal, and they are on that grind, when you fall behind on the grind, you are way behind them, just in general. And it does cause a huge issue when you're trying to keep up with your friends. Now, seasons kind of eliminate this as a problem, because even if you miss the beginning of a season, which is totally something that happens, you can always catch up next season. You can make plans to catch up next season. You can schedule vacation time off at the beginning of the season. And every single time a new season occurs, everybody starts over from zero. So it allows people a chance to catch up with their friends, because all you have to do is just make sure you're playing at the beginning of the season. And usually that's enough to help you keep up with the group. And since everybody gets reset to zero, there's no giant pyramid building. That's what I like to call it, is giant pyramid building. Because what is essentially happening is you're building this absolutely massive, ridiculous pyramid of wealth and prestige, and anybody standing at the bottom of the pyramid is looking up like, how am I ever supposed to reach where he's at? And so I do like the fact that we have seasons in Diablo 4, Diablo 3, and Diablo 2. So it says it allows players who missed the last season to participate. This season design requires that all sources of characters' power come from playing the game. So you will not be able to pay for power in Diablo 4. I kind of doubt that, but we'll see. You can read about our monetization philosophy below, along with details on how the cosmetic shop and optional season pass support the enhanced seasons. So they're not referring to real money trade. They're referring to their real money trade shop. They're basically saying that inside of their shop, they're not going to have any way for you to purchase the power for your character, which is a good thing, of course. We hope you enjoyed this update. Look forward to your thoughts and reactions. Later this year, we'll be testing our endgame systems. We'll also be testing features that enable players who have completed the game's campaign to flag it as completed for new characters. They create and allow characters on the Eternal Realm to contribute to seasonal progress. Finally, stay tuned for a winter blog. We're grateful to have you with us on this journey. Thank you for playing the games we make. Joe Shelley. All right, so we've got seasons, new content, refreshing the meta, improving the game, live events, season journey, season pass, the shop, and closing thoughts. Seasons. Hello, heroes of Sanctuary. My name is Joe Piora, the Associate Game Director responsible for game systems and our live service. Today, I finally get to talk about our high-level plans for Diablo 4's seasonal content updates. We are in the exciting position of delivering the high-quality quarterly releases Diablo 4 deserves. As our game director Joe Shelley noted earlier, we are pursuing a seasonal reset structure for our live game. Diablo is a game about choice and possibility. We feel it is at its best when you get a clean slate to start from in a season. Picking a class, customizing your build, and chasing down items that support it along the way. This affords us several advantages, and chief among them is that we can really shake the box of Diablo IV with each season, creating unique experiences with each of our quarterly releases. New content. We do have a picture here. I mean, it looks more like a artist's rendering than a game screenshot. We think it is important that players see that the game is changing in meaningful ways. Each season will be released with a fresh new gameplay feature and quest line that introduces new challenges, mysteries, and possibilities into the level up experience. This is something players should begin to experience before the end of their first hour of play. One of the benefits of our seasonal direction is that it enables fun, new ways to play throughout your character's progression. Each season's new quest line will reveal more of the world of Sanctuary and your character's place in it. Here we get an opportunity to introduce new characters or revisit old ones while exploring the lore and content of the season. It kind of sounds interesting. It sounds like what they're talking about is each time they have a season, it's not going to be the same quest over and over again. It's going to be a new quest, which they're going to like add in. There'll be new people in the quests, maybe new things that you talk about. You'll learn a little bit more about the storyline of or whatever's going on in the world. So it's kind of interesting. Refreshing the meta. Well, this looks intimidatingly weird. Strength, intelligence, willpower, dexterity. 1,010 dexterity. We're already breaching into the crazy numbers of Diablo 3. Which is not really a good thing. Trust me, the higher the numbers get, the more ridiculous things become, and the more obfuscated everything is to the point of delirium. Having giant, ridiculous numbers like this is never a good sign, but hopefully they can reel this in to be a little bit more understanding. Also, hopefully this is end game and not like mid game. If you're running 1,010 dexterity at mid game, definitely something wrong with the game. If this is end game stats, if that's like your end game stats, that's a little bit more interesting. Yeah, this is part of their Paragon board, is what I'm assuming. They went over this in one of the earlier updates. If you want to check that update out, the Paragon board is something that's interesting. They basically said it's not going to be something that you see at the beginning of the game. So you don't see this at the beginning of the game at all, not like Path of Exile. In Path of Exile, they show this to you like literally right when you start. They're like, hello, newbie who has no idea how to play this game. Check out this big giant board and be anxiety-ridden. No, apparently this doesn't show up until much later in the game, according to them. So when you've got a firmer grasp of what the hell you're doing with your character, so it makes a little bit more sense. Although I don't necessarily like this style of building characters, I rather much prefer the Diablo 2 method, which is where you choose a skill and put points into it, and there's itemization and things like that. The board, in my opinion, is kind of just overly convoluted for no reason. I've never really enjoyed it. Diablo IV is a vast game. We want to ensure that we are keeping existing content and features in a place where they remain fun and challenging to participate in. To that end, we will always be evaluating the state of the game to regularly revitalize older stomping grounds. One clear example here is looking at the relative balance between classes, builds, and powers. Diablo is a game that is about creating exciting, overpowered builds, and while we don't want to balance the fun out of the experience, we don't want to create situations in which imprecise tuning squash creativity. So this is a really big thing. It's one of the things that makes Diablo 2 so much fun. If you guys are unaware of this, Diablo 2 is so much fun because you have the ability to create things that otherwise wouldn't normally exist. The developers in no way had any clue the kind of crazy and absolutely magnificently creative builds that Diablo 2 players would come up with. They may have envisioned a small fraction of them, but the Diablo 2 player base created a large number of those builds completely in opposition to what the development team had intended. And that kind of creativity is what makes Diablo so much fun, is that you can play a character and you can build something that you envision in your mind, and you almost know instinctively that this is not the way the developers had intended. And so what they're getting at here is that they don't want to overtune the game to the point where it feels like every choice that you make was predetermined by the developers. And that's basically what they're saying, is they're trying to strike a balance between creating a system that works and not squashing the creativity of the players. They want the players to be able to create and have fun making builds, but they also obviously don't want it to get out of hand and be like broken ridiculous. So they're trying to find a balancing point between the two of them. Improving the game. With each season, we'll be looking into ways to simply improve the player experience as a live product. We intend to hold Diablo IV to an exceedingly high standard. We are here to build a live game, but that we can be proud of, and the best way to do that is by engaging our players directly. Based on feedback that we receive, the team will identify quality of life features and polish work that can be done to improve the overall game experience, and invite the community to vote upon their priority. While we cannot always flip a switch to tackle something immediately, you can rest assured that we will be active in improving the quality of the game experience for years to come. So that's just basically them going, hey, we're not going to abandon the game. But every game company says that, like, and not to like down Blizzard or anything, because this is like a standard clause in a contract at this point. But if the game were to fail, if Diablo IV were to fail, if nobody bought it, if nobody showed up, if nobody logged in, they'd kill it. Like, just like that. It doesn't matter if there's 10 people playing it or 10,000. If they feel like the game is failing and they don't want to support it anymore, they would just pull the switch. So these lines are usually absolutely BS. But, you know, they got to put them in here at this point, because if they don't, then you're like, well, are you going to support the game? Live events. Sanctuary is a living world filled with people, creatures, factions striving to meet their own ends. Attentive players should be on the lookout for new live events that will crop up each season. An example of a live event might be the warning of an impending invasion of the drowned, which may last a weekend, or the arrival of a strange peddler amidst the crabs of the dry steppes. These events provide gateways to new adventures and unique rewards. So we have a season objective panel, and seems to be showing something like Chapter 2. Objectives can be completed in the season journey. Earn you favor, which help to boost your season pass. Complete the majority of the objectives per chapter to unlock the next chapter. Complete 9 out of 11 objectives to earn chapter rewards and unlock the next chapter. So it looks like some little shits. I don't know what they are. Some of these look pretty easy. Defeat monsters, craft a magic item, interact with a jeweler. This looks very Diablo 3-ish. I've played Diablo 3. I've played the seasons of Diablo 3. These look identical to Diablo 3 seasons. Like, there's no creativity here whatsoever. This is just like straight up a copy and paste of the Diablo 3 objectives. Kind of was hoping to see something a little bit more creative for Diablo 4, not just a copy and paste of mechanics from Diablo 3. Season Journey. Alongside our major season releases, we see the return of the Season Journey. Players are pushed to explore Sanctuary anew, earning limited time rewards with each chapter of the Season Journey that is completed. Completing the Season Journey is quite a feat, with the final step demanding the character to overcome an extremely difficult encounter with an especially deadly foe. With future season journeys, we are regularly adding pinnacle-level difficulty challenges for players to complete, proving their worth and earning unique cosmetic rewards beside. Like Diablo 3, the season journey is free for all players. Completing the season journey objectives also grants progress toward the season pass. A new feature will be with a battle pass style progression that advances alongside the season journey, enabling players to earn even more rewards just by playing. The season pass also has both free rewards, cosmetic, premium currency, and gameplay boosts, and paid rewards, cosmetic, and premium currency only. Season pass. Hey everyone, I'm Keegan Clark, Director of Product for Diablo 4, here to talk about our approach to live service monetization in Diablo 4. As we've discussed previously, Diablo 4 will be a full price game with a cosmetic shop and a season pass, none of which provide any pay for power options. Our goal in designing our in-game purchases is that we want to create beautiful things which add value to players' experience of the game. The scale of Diablo 4 Seasons is much more ambitious than what we've done in the past on Diablo 3 with a large development team dedicated to Seasons after launch. Diablo 4 will be supported by an army of developers for years to come with all the exciting plans we have for Seasons. We want them to be enjoyed by everyone regardless of whether they buy anything from the shop. I'm grateful for the opportunity to finally share more with the community about our live service model. Seasons will add all new gameplay, quest challenges, meta changes, and quality of life improvements. The Season Pass recognizes players' dedication with greater rewards unlocking as you play more throughout the season. There will be a single track of rewards with free tiers that are unlocked just by playing the game and leveling, and premium tiers which provide no in-game power or advantage over other players. The free tiers of the pass will provide gameplay boosts to all players, things which make the journey of leveling up in a fresh seasonal character faster and more streamlined. In contrast, the premium tier rewards are focused on aesthetics, providing a huge value in the form of cosmetics and premium currency. Many of the rewards embody the seasonal theme, helping players show off their participation in that season. Let's talk about more of what players can expect. The Season Pass has free tiers and premium tiers. Throughout the pass, players can earn a variety of rewards for free just by playing. At any point during the season, players can purchase the Premium Pass to unlock the ability to earn premium rewards, tiers containing seasonally themed cosmetics and premium currency. The only thing that's bothering me is this premium currency, but we need to know what you can spend that premium currency on. And as long as there's no other forms of premium currency that do other crazy things, we might be all right. I'm always optimistic with these things, but I'll be the first one to tell you that's stupid. The Season Pass awards cosmetics. Like the shop, these don't affect gameplay. Additionally, certain cosmetics are exclusive to the Season Pass. I don't have any problem with cosmetics by themselves as long as there's nothing else involved in the cosmetics or in the shop that you can purchase that would give some sort of like increase in the game. The Season Pass awards cosmetics like the shop. The Season Pass awards premium currency. Players can spend this currency on cosmetics offered in the shop. So apparently the shop is just cosmetics. I guess we'll find out. The Season Pass awards free season boosts. Boosts accelerate players' progress for the duration of the season. For example, a season boost might accelerate EXP earned to make leveling multiple characters within a season faster. Because they affect gameplay, season boosts are free rewards for all players. We want to be clear that players can't unlock season boosts more quickly through purchases. There is no way to unlock more boosts or boost at a faster pace by spending money. So, I mean, that's a good thing. If they are going to add EXP experience boosting or anything like that that might affect gameplay, putting it in the free section so that everybody has access to it and not adding it to the paid section is a good thing. But one thing that I'll caution all of you right now is that anytime you have a game that has a premium shop in it, no matter how well-intentioned, no matter how good it looks on the surface, they can always add things later to the shop. Like it's like setting up a storefront and you're only selling cookies. And then one day you're not selling cookies anymore, you're selling weed or you're selling heroin. You're using your shop for whatever you want, okay? And in the beginning, your cookie store did have good intentions. But as you know, your rent and your electric bill came due and you realized you need a little bit more money, you know, you threw some heroin out there to try and sell that too at your cookie shop. And that's unfortunately how shops in games work, is that the company can at any point change their mind and be like, oh yeah, I know we said this, but actually we need some money, so here's a sword of the godliness that has plus 1 million to all stats for only $199.99. Okay. Players can purchase tiers, but they won't speed up season boosts. Players can't upgrade season boosts just by purchasing tiers because they'll also have to earn level milestones to apply them. All other tier rewards can be unlocked instantly by purchasing tiers. In other words, there's no way to shortcut season boosts by buying tiers. They must be earned. The season journey accelerates season pass progression. While any playstyle can progress the season pass, min-maxers can focus on season journey objectives to advance more quickly. So basically, you know what I'm seeing here? This is a damage control article. Very plain and simple. This is a damage control article. The Diablo Immortal came out. It pissed off a lot of people. They saw all this monetization, and they're mad, right? And so Blizzard is like, okay, they're mad at us. We don't want them to think Diablo 4 is going to be like Diablo Immortal, because it's not. And so now they're doing a big old, like, PR article, like trying to convince us that Diablo 4 is not going to be like Diablo Immortal, which who knows whether it's going to work or not. The shop. The way we approached designing the shop and cosmetics within it was by thinking about the experience we want players to have. We want buying things to feel good before, during, and after purchase. So if the players choose to buy something, it should be because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. Again, damage control. It should also be clear to players exactly what they are getting before they choose to buy, with no unpleasant surprises. The shop's cosmetic build on top of the foundation of a huge variety of transmogs from weapons and armors players will find in the game. It's also important to us that the shop is grounded within the Diablo's world, so our cosmetics are holistic fantasies, the individual components of which can be mixed and matched with transmogs from armors acquired in-game for endless customization options. So this is apparently some of the transmogs. The Lion of Ariot, the Heir to the Sea, Wraithlord, Fractured Magic, and something called Raised Wolf. It's probably for the Druid, right? And then I'm assuming that this over here on this left-hand side is for individual classes. They look like class logos to me. So this one is featured. This one is probably the Barbarian, right? This one is the Rogue. This one is the Druid. I would assume this one is the Necromancer. And I don't know what that one is. Why am I drawing a blank here? Drawing a blank. Can't remember what that one is. Oh. Let's talk more about what players can expect. The shop sells cosmetics for premium currency. Cosmetics give players even more options to customize the visual appearance of their characters. Nothing offered in the shop grants a direct or indirect gameplay advantage, so while these may look like powerful pieces of gear, they have no in-game stats. So this is the Wraithlord. The bundle includes... So this is a giveaway of the game, by the way, of what's going on in the game. If you guys are unaware of this, this actually gives things away that they probably didn't intend to give away. Let me move myself up here for a second. So what this does is it actually shows us the slots that are going to be on the character. So if you guys have never seen a character panel before, voila, here's your character panel. So what do we have? We have a helmet. We have armor. So that's helmet, body armor. We've got gloves, so helmet, body armor, gloves. We've got a cape, so it looks like we have a cape slot, so that's 4. We've got boots, shield, and weapon, so that's 5, 6, 7 slots that basically we can confirm are in the game, including a cape slot, which I did not expect. That looks like a cape slot to me. Either that or it's pants. It could be pants. But so pretty standard as far as Diablo 3 is concerned. There were no pants in Diablo 2, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever actually realized that, but there were no pants in Diablo 2. Just boots and armor. Apparently, everyone in Diablo 2 is running around with no pants on. Now I've got that image in your head. Wraithlord. Their souls answer my call. Some necromancers explore beyond the body, blood, and bones of the dead. Skilled necromancers manipulate the spirit, putting the energy to use as well. The shop is optional. Players can experience all core and seasonal gameplay features without spending money. Our goal is for players to enjoy going to the shop, buy something when it catches their fancy, and walk away happy with what they bought. The shop is transparent. It's important that players know exactly what to expect before making purchases. We've built preview functionality that enables players to closely examine every detail of the cosmetic on their own characters before deciding to make the purchase. So we've got another image here. Transmog, burial shroud, somewhat mimicking the human body. Underneath the outer shell of this breastplate lies a rib-like substance of metal slats, further enhancing its protective qualities. Equipped from the wardrobe, so apparently all the transmogs will appear in something called the wardrobe. And then it says here the supported classes, so I'm assuming that is only the necromancer. So this is probably the necromancer only one. We also have some things down here at the bottom, which you guys can't see for some reason. Hold on, I'm just going to slightly readjust this. Down here at the bottom, it says rotate, reset look, randomize look, swap gender, zoom, and escape. I don't know why that was kind of hidden. The best looking cosmetics aren't exclusive to the shop. Diablo IV will ship with hundreds of transmogs unlockable from drops in game, including dozens of armor sets of the highest visual quality. There are incredible pieces, unique and legendary quality items for players to find without ever going to the shop. The shop offers more diversity of choices, not systematically better choices. So I'm assuming this one is a shop armor on the left, and this one is a non-shop armor on the right. And I mean, if I had to like specifically say which one I think looks cooler, I think the one on the right looks cooler, but does it actually say which one is which? It doesn't really say which one is which. So here's two different ones here. Definitely have some interesting armor sets here. I mean, this one is kind of cool looking. It's got like a little boar on the front. This one's got a little lion. And I don't really know. I know for a fact one of these is a premium because I've actually seen it before. I'm pretty sure it's this one in bone, which means this one's not the premium. And then this one seems to be for the rogue. So we've got like a golden sort of like armor here with like a skull for a shoulder plate. And then this one really looks like the huntress kind of a situation going on, like bone helmet, antler bow. It actually looks really cool in my opinion. It looks pretty neat. Even the feet, I don't know, let me move myself out of the way so you can see her toes. I know you people with feet fetishes want to see them toes. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Down here at the bottom, it looks like she has paws or like claws or something. It's kind of cool looking. Like the paws or the claws of the animal are kind of like over top of her shoe. It's like kind of interesting looking. Armor transmogs in the shop are usable on all characters of that class. Many of the cosmetics in the shop are class-specific fantasies, which wouldn't necessarily make sense visually on other classes. Once you unlock a cosmetic from the shop for a given class, you can use it on every character of that class on your account. So this is something that Diablo Immortal did not allow, believe it or not. When you purchased a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, you only had it on that one character. That's it. You spent like $40 on a cosmetic, and literally it was only for that one character, and you logged onto your other character expecting your, to be able to use that cosmetic on your second character. No. Everything was limited and locked to one character. So this is already different. There are special cosmetics exclusive to Season Pass, which celebrate the theme of the season and look similar across all classes. I mean, this is pretty common. The goal of obviously having unique things to the season is to promote you to play the season. They obviously want you to play the season, so having some special rewards for the season is a one way to encourage you to actually participate. The most important guiding principle behind the shop and Season Pass is to create something players love, look forward to, and appreciate being part of the game. Cosmetics in Diablo IV create new ways for players to express themselves and never provide advantages in-game. They've only said that about 17 times so far. They really have said that a lot. Players will experience all the fun of seasons, whether they spend anything or not. Wow, they said it again. We intend to continue our dialogue with players about Shop and Season Pass, and will always listen and seek out the community's feedback about it. It is our sincerest belief that we can work together with the community to keep Diablo IV a living, evolving world for many years to come. Thanks for reading. We'll be sharing more soon. Closing thoughts. Wrapping up this quarterly update blog, we want players to take comfort in knowing Diablo IV will continue to evolve its offerings post-launch. The introduction of new seasons alongside live events and returning season journey will work in tandem to breathe variety into the game while also reinforcing its core principle, empowering players to experience Sanctuary as they see fit. We cannot wait for you to explore these systems in the future. My throat's a little dry. Give me a second here. I'm going to collect my thoughts, too, while I'm at it. So, one thing I don't like right off the bat, Blizzard, if you're listening, I never like any cosmetic to be limited only to purchasing. If you're playing a game like this, I like for there to always be an avenue for you to obtain that item for free. Even if that avenue requires that you play every day for like 2 weeks straight and talk to this one NPC and tickle his balls. Whatever it is that you've got to do to make that cosmetic that you're charging people $29.95 for, or whatever the price is, you have to find an avenue to make that cosmetic free in the game. Now, season-specific cosmetics and having them unique and so that you can only obtain them during this one season and that's it, perfectly fine, because that is a badge of honor for playing the season. There is no badge of honor, as far as I'm concerned, in purchasing a cosmetic. So if you go to the shop and spend $29.95, there's absolutely no reason why that cosmetic should be limited specifically to the shop. Now, I'm not saying give it away for free, and I'm not saying make it ridiculously easy to obtain to the point where no one wants to pay you money, because I certainly understand that monetization is important for games, and if you don't have any money incoming, the game will eventually just fail because you don't have any money to support it. But if you make it difficult enough to obtain that people can actually still do it, but far enough of an objective away that it is a difficult thing to obtain, people will still purchase your cosmetics, and you will earn kudos points from the people who are willing to put in the hours and the time to gain the item. Not only that, it also always works out to your advantage. If you create avenues within the game which are difficult to obtain the cosmetics but possible, you create situations where players work toward a goal. And the more people playing your game, the better. You should never look at more people playing your game as a bad thing. Having cosmetics for purchase in the game doesn't necessarily mean that people are actually going to play the game. If somebody logs in, sees a cool cosmetic, buys it, plays for an hour, and never logs in again, that's not a win on your part. You got a little bit of money out of it, but you lost a player. Having an avenue to actually obtain the cosmetics outside of the game, or rather outside of the cosmetic shop, is always going to be a good thing as a company. Because number one, if the person is willing to put in that time to get the item, you win because the person is playing your game. If the person spends money on the item, you win because they bought the item. And, if they spend a little bit of time trying to grind out the item and realize that they don't have the time for it and then they buy it anyway, guess what? Now you double win because now they spend a whole bunch of time playing and you got them to spend money on the item. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to only have specific cosmetics in the shop that can't be obtained anywhere else. Let's see here. This whole thing I don't like. I'm really hesitant about this whole thing. This board. I don't like the Paragon boards. I don't like how they work. I feel like they're very restrictive in how you build your character, and most of the time, all they end up being is stat points. I can tell you right now, just looking at this. Look at this: strength, intelligence, willpower, dex. Right? Okay, so these are your four stats. Look at the symbols. So the hands with the sword is the dex. The person with the little mind hat is the willpower. The guy with the gears on his head is the intelligence. And the fist with the little lines is the strength, right? So let's go over here and let's take a look at the board. All right. What do you see on this board? What are 99% of the icons? What are literally the majority of every single icon that you see on this board? It's stats. Every single icon just about on this board, with the exception of the big ones, which are probably something important, are stats. That's it. A game is more than just the stats that your character have. Okay, and if I'm leveling up a board like this, and I have literally like every single point in my board literally put into the stat points for my character, because my character is literally just he needs dexterity, so I'm just going to beef up his dexterity as much as humanly possible. Like I don't like this style of gameplay. Like the game is not all about stats. It's about like having the right equipment. It's about using the right skills. It's about making your character function in a way that works for you, or that's enjoyable to you. When you focus a game entirely on the stats of the character instead of how the character plays, you make a situation where it's less about how you play the character and more about, do I have enough strength? Do I have enough dex? Because if I don't have enough dex, I can't beat this boss no matter how well I play. And I don't particularly enjoy that style of gameplay. Now, granted, maybe I'm reading too much into things, and that's not how it is. And maybe they're just forcing you to put these points in so that you can get to your objective. So, like, maybe this is like something cool, like whirlwind, or like shapeshifting to a bear or something. And like they're just basically forcing you to get strength to get up to this point, because they want you to have enough strength to be able to, be a bear or whatever. But on the surface, just looking at this chart, all it looks like to me is just bonus stats, which is not a good direction to go in at all. I would much rather prefer these little pips to be something else, anything else. They could be plus crit chance. They could be like increased run walk speed. They could be like 100 different things besides just simply strength, intelligence, willpower, and dex. They could be specific bonuses to damage of skills. They could be I don't really know. I'm not really sure why exactly there's so many either. Like I feel like if I counted every single one of these strength things, it would probably be like almost 100. I mean, we're talking about what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. I mean, there's 50 right there. Right here. There's already 50. 50 different strength bonuses. And then these right here, notice how some of these strength bonuses are bigger. So I'm assuming this is some sort of special skill right here. So this yellow one is a special skill, whereas a lot of these other ones are just simply regular skills, or regular bonuses to strength. This one up here is special too, I've noticed. One of the things that this causes, though, that a lot of people don't realize is it's convoluted and it's actually really difficult to build characters. If you do end up playing Diablo 4, and if I do end up playing Diablo 4, you're probably going to be on my channel a lot asking me how to build your character. You're going to be like, I'm trying to play a Shapeshifter Druid, and I can't figure out how to build my Paragon tree. Do I put 72 points into Strength and grab the node on the left, or do I put 82 points into Intelligence and grab the node on the right? Or do I put 67 points into Willpower and grab the 3 nodes at the top? I'm not really sure. I can't really make up my mind. I don't know which skill is better. There's like 80,000 different choices, and I could definitely choose anything, but it's literally just like an infinite field as far as the eye can see. I mean, this is just one board. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but see the edges of the board right here? Like, see the edges, and then see this little thing right here? It's like almost looks like a little bridge. So there's like a kind of like a little bridge here. The bridge connects the two boards together. So right now we're looking at 3 different boards. So there's one board on the right, one board in the middle, and one board on the left. And then as you can see at the bottom here, there's also another connecting indicator at the bottom, which means that another board could potentially connect here. Or maybe you can flip the board around. I think they talked about flipping the board so that you could connect it in different ways. Just pick up the whole chessboard and just spin it. Let's see here. I'm really a little weirded out by the fact that they just continually said over and over and over and over again that there's not going to be any way for you to purchase advantages within the game. Like, they really hammered it in. Like, if it was a nail that was being hammered into a piece of wood, the nail is bent over. It is completely smashed flat into the wood, and there are big dents in the wood at this point. That's how much they hammered it down. It's a little bit too much. Every time they had the chance to say the shop does not bring you any advantages, they said it. And then they also said it like multiple times. This right here is a little worrying because this, I believe, is just a copy and paste from Diablo 3. It really looks like Diablo 3's season objective. In fact, you know what? Let's, just for lulls here, let me see if I can pull up Diablo 3's season objective image and compare. Diablo 3 season objectives. Images. Alright, so here's a picture of the season objectives. Let me see if I can bring this up on camera for you guys. So this is a picture of the season objectives for Diablo 3. It's a really terrible picture, by the way. But as you can see here, a new start, complete 5 bounties, begin again, complete a Nephilim rift, socket to me, socket a gem into an item, so forth and so on. Like, it's very specifically like a list of tasks that you have to do, basically. And taking a look at this, you can see that this is just a list of tasks that you have to do. It is very extremely similar to Diablo 3 in just about every way. Like, interact with a jeweler and craft an item. Craft a magic item. Like, very simple tasks, very much so just taken straight from Diablo 3. I don't really know exactly what to say about this other than it just seems like a recycled thing. However, the season journey. So this seems to be their attempt to add something new. So if I'm understanding things correctly, the season journey is like a challenge, whereas this particular little bit right here, the season objectives, is not really a challenge. It's just like a tour of the ship. Like in Diablo 3, I actually played around with it. It's like the tour of a ship, basically. You're just kind of like checking off little boxes. Like, I walked across the welcome mat. Cha-ching! I talked to the captain. Cha-ching! I poked a girl in her back of her forehead. Cha-ching! That's right, back of her forehead. You heard me. I saw a monkey on the edge of the ship. Cha-ching! You know, like literally, like that's all you're really doing with the season objectives is just checking off a little list. Whereas the season journey seems to more be along the line of like, here's a series of challenges that you have to do, and if you can complete them all before the season is over, you get a reward, right? Well, if it's difficult enough and it's hard enough to do, it could be interesting. You can take Diablo 2, for instance. Let's say Diablo 2, in Diablo 2, let's say your goal was to hit level 99. You know, hitting level 99 in Diablo 2 is very difficult, and that could definitely be considered your season journey, right? So you log into Diablo 2, and you're like, okay, I need to hit level 99 before the season is over, and if I can't, then I'm an absolute failure as a human being, and I need to go commit suicide off a bridge. Well, that's a terrible way to think. But, you know, that's your season journey. Well, if they have a fun enough and compelling enough and challenging enough season journey, it could be interesting. And at the end here, it did say that right here it says the final step, demanding the character to overcome an extremely difficult encounter with an especially deadly foe. That could be interesting, as long as it's not too easy. If it's too easy, the whole season journey thing, I feel like is going to come down to basically this: if it's too easy, nobody's going to care. If it's too difficult, nobody's going to care. They need to like strike a balance. It has to be difficult enough that it is considered a challenge, but not so difficult that literally nobody can complete it. So they need to find a good balance between the two, and it definitely needs to be a hell of a lot more difficult than this stupid thing, which is literally just like walking around town and clicking buttons. Let's see here. So the season pass does sound like they got a better idea of how to do it. It's mainly cosmetic rewards. The free rewards for everybody have some ways that you can increase your EXP and whatnot, and it does seem like everybody's going to have access to those. And it also says that you can purchase ranks in the season pass, but that none of the free rewards that offer bonuses like EXP or anything like that will be available for purchase. So even if you purchase ranks with the season pass to get the cosmetics immediately, you know, you're a very impatient person and you want your cosmetics right now. I want my cosmetics and I want them now. J.G. Wentworth. No, I'm just kidding. Even if you get impatient, you don't get the free rewards. You have to earn those, apparently, according to this, which I think is the better way to do it. It's definitely a hell of a lot better than the way that Diablo Immortal did things. The shop. So I think I should take a minute here and talk about the shop. There's a couple lines in here that are really telling that the negative response for Diablo Immortal had a very strong impact on this article. And I'm going to show you a couple of them right now. So right here, so if players choose to buy something, it should be because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. It should also be clear to players exactly what they are getting before they choose to buy, with no unpleasant surprises. These are two things that Diablo Immortal is notorious for. Number one, it has this way of almost compelling you to purchase things. It is specifically designed in such a way that literally, like when you log in, almost plays on your obsessive compulsive nature to purchase the items. I did a full article on this a little while back, a full video talking about deceptive practices in free-to-play games and how the games will actually kind of like force you or compel you or like, you know, especially if you're a very susceptible person to these kind of tactics, to basically make you do things. And and it seems like they're shying away from those practices. And then the second part here, it should also be clear that players exactly what they're getting before they choose to buy with no unpleasant surprises. Another thing that happened in Diablo Immortal, which is basically where they weren't showing everybody everything. On top of that, it wasn't apparent that what they were purchasing was not usable by all characters, and instead was only usable by that one character, which was kind of crappy. It was really crappy, actually. And then they actually go through the process of talking about that in here. They talk about how the cosmetics are going to be usable by all characters, not just one specific character, which I pointed out earlier. Which was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in a game. Like, you're going to make somebody spend like $30 on a cosmetic, and you're not even going to let them use that cosmetic on multiple characters. Come here, Cody. Come here, buddy. They saw you, sir. They saw you, and now you have to make an appearance. Come here. Come here, Kubus. This is the monster dog, Kubus. Say hello, Kubus. Would you like a cracker? Would you like a crunch master? These are crunch masters. They're masters of the crunch. Get the crunch master. The master of the crunching. Good. Take your crunch master and go, sir. He said, I know go. You got more crunch masters. I want all the crunch masters. Let's see here. Armor transmogs. Even in the transmog system, they go through the process of saying, these items will not give you any benefit within the game and are purely, cosmetic, blah, blah, blah. I know there's some more in here that I'm missing. I think this is important here as well. I'd like to talk about this real quick. What's up, Hyperion? What's up, Valicious? So, cosmetics in games were not always cosmetics in games. So, there was a time, long before cosmetics were even the twinkle in some developer's eye, that you specifically were putting together pieces of equipment to make your character look awesome. Okay, so you would scour the realms for items very specifically that you wanted to put on your character to make your character look really cool. And once you managed to put together whatever awesome set of gear that you wanted, like some crimson gauntlets or something that you found off some monster in the middle of nowhere, and a really awesome helmet with horns on it, or whatever it is that you were looking for, you put it all together and you made your character look a specific way. Well, cosmetics are kind of like the end result of that. It's like the developers realizing that, hey, people like to make their characters look cool, so let's create cool sets for them. But basically what they're saying here is that you can essentially find items within the realms that are not purchased from the cosmetic shop that you can make your character look a specific way with, which is kind of returning to the roots of pretty much how cosmetics were born in the first dang place, because cosmetics never were cosmetics. They were always just really cool armors that you found along your journey, and you were like, wow, the stats on this thing suck, but it's really freaking cool looking. And then you'd put it in your stash, and you'd whip it out for like special occasions or whatever, and people would be like, wow, where'd you find that helmet? That thing looks really awesome. And you're like, yeah, not telling you, because you're gonna go try and get it, and you're gonna make your character look like that too. Cody's always trying to sneak off, and he's always trying to do something bad. And every single time I turn around, he's sneaking off to do something. Earlier, he snuck off and he found my bag of Laffy Taffies, and he started eating my Laffy Taffies one by one, wrapper and all. I'm sure he's going to be pooping out some wax paper at some point. No, you're going to sit right here, sir, where I can keep an eyes on you. He's like, oh, we're done? He's like, I'm going to go chew up that thing over there again. Okay, so here's some of the cosmetics here. Maybe we can match these up. So the Lion of Ariat is the one on the left, right here. And the Lion of the Ariat is the one on the right. So the one on the right is the paid one. The one on the left is the free one. If I'm looking at these pictures correctly, because that certainly does look like the paid version right there. So the one on the left must be the free version. So the evil flesh creature thing, it must be the free version here, and the paid one is the, I don't know, we'll call that the sun goddess or something. I don't know. It's kind of got like a sun looking face. So the paid one here, I believe, is the one with the claw fetish, and then this one is the free one over here. I can actually double check that one because I think that was on the list. Yeah, raised by wolves. So that's the raised by wolves one right there. Wraith Lord, fractured magic, heir to the sea. I don't know if any of those other ones are up here. Yeah, I don't really see any of these other ones up here. There's some palladium. So yeah, screen captures of legendary armors earned through the game on the left versus armor, cosmetics, in the shop on the right. So yeah, so the ones on the left are all the ones in game, and the ones on the right are the ones that you get from the cosmetic shop. So, I mean, this one, I think the one on the left looks cooler. I don't really even care for that one on the right. It kind of looks doofy. This one, the one on the left, kind of looks like a cartoon character. I don't really like that one at all. The one on the right, I think, definitely looks better. This one, I don't really think they compare. Like, the one on the right is definitely a particular style, and it looks really good. And the one on the left is a particular style, and it looks pretty good. And I feel like in any scenario, it's really going to come down to, like, what kind of style that particular person wants their character to look like. Like, if they want to go for, like, the woman of the woods scenario, like, this one would definitely win. But if they just want to look like some sort of cool badass, I mean, this one looks cool, too. I always worry anytime I see them say, and we want the game to be like Diablo 3, because I don't really like that when I hear that, like, ever. I'm like, I would rather them say, we want it to be like Diablo 2, or we don't want it to be like Diablo 3. Like, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear them say they want it to be like Diablo 2 or Diablo 3. I don't want to hear that. Diablo 3 is boring. Last time I played Diablo 3, I literally started falling asleep. Like Diablo 3, the season journey is free for all players. See, don't say that. Don't say that. Season journey is free for Diablo 2 as well. When did they ever charge for Diablo 2? They could have said Diablo 2's seasons were free. Why they gotta drop Diablo 3's name in there? So I think we've talked about just about everything we can as far as Diablo 4 is concerned. But since I have all you guys here, let's talk about Diablo 2. So Diablo 2, I believe. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. We had some information regarding Diablo 2, and there's a tweet by Pez Radar. Let me see if I can pull up Pez Radar's tweet real quick. Tweets and replies. I'm pretty sure it was in tweets and replies. Well, or maybe it's not. See, that's why I don't bring it up on camera before I find it, because otherwise I'll be searching through Twitter for about a half an hour, and I'll be looking at like some dumbass crap on my stream. And I'll be like, yeah, don't pay attention to that squirrel that seems to have his nuts caught in the fence. Like, don't pay any attention to that. Don't pay any attention to that whatsoever. Please. You know what? I think I have it on my computer. Let me just pull up the picture. Probably be easier just in general. But anyway, I mean, before I even pull it up, I can start talking about it. I mean, why not? There is basically no information on exactly when Diablo 2 Resurrected's season is going to end, which is kind of odd. They also gave some information about the PTR upcoming, which is also a little odd. And here it is right here. Finally found it. Yay, after 10,000 years. YouTube actually started this stupid new feature where it automatically expires my community posts. And I count on my community posts to be there. I count on them to be there. And sometimes they're just not there. And it's not cool at all. Bink. Here we go. All right, so Adam Fletcher, who is Pez Radar, he's the community manager for Diablo 2, if you guys are unaware. Oh, wow, look at my white Dragon Ball Z shirt. That looks kind of fly in white. I'm digging that. That looks kind of fly in white. Oh, man, now I need a white one. That is sexy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It does look kind of fly in white, though. You guys gotta admit, look good in white there. Anyway, he said PTR news toward the end of the month. Ladder reset comes with a new season / post patch. Got to get read through PTR first. So basically, what he's saying is that the ladder reset won't happen until after PTR is finished. But here's the weird thing. You know, seasons are supposed to happen like clockwork, like every certain number of months, right? So if we're on 4-month schedule, then our season should be resetting every 4 months, like verbatim. So we should be literally looking at a ladder reset probably around like August 25th-ish. Like around that. And when I say ish, I mean like plus or minus like 3 or 4 days. It's currently the 18th, and we're about a week out. PTR usually lasts for about a week. So, like, there's absolutely no way that even if they launched PTR today, would we meet the deadline for ladder to be reset, like, on time, which is really freaking weird. And then the other thing is that PTR also indicates that we are looking at a larger update than we probably normally otherwise would. You can, I think, very safely read into this to basically mean that the patch is bigger than just like some balance changes or something. We're probably looking at some changes that are a lot more advanced. New rune words, for instance, would most likely be part of that, as well as maybe skill rebalances, changes, perhaps even some new content, who knows. But you don't run a PTR for a patch that doesn't really have a whole lot to it. You run a PTR for a patch that does have a whole lot to it. So I think we can be pretty sure that we're going to see a lot of good updates for Diablo 2 Resurrected before this new season hits. What exactly we're going to see, I don't know. But PTR is not up. I checked it earlier just to verify, because I actually still had PTR installed. from the previous public test realm, and never really doesn't really do anything right now. But we've got to see PTR within the next couple weeks. Otherwise, I don't know how long it's going to be. My guess, this is just my guess, you guys can go off it if you want to, is we're probably going to see PTR released, announced on Tuesday the 23rd. They love to do things on Tuesday. I have noticed this about Blizzard. For some reason or another, Tuesday is their like most beloved day of releasing notes and information. And you could probably expect some kind of announcement on Tuesday that PTR is going to be coming probably the following Wednesday or Thursday. So they'll tell us basically on Tuesday that PTR is coming, and then PTR will be here like Wednesday or Thursday. And then it lasts for that entire week until the following Tuesday, and then ends. They generally have only been doing 1 week PTRs, so I probably wouldn't expect more than 1, maybe 2 weeks. Which means we're looking at, if everything rolls about how I'm guessing, we're looking at probably ladder resetting sometime around like the 30th or like September 6th or something like that. Plus or minus 1 to 2 weeks, basically. So assuming we see PTR next week on the 23rd, ladder could reset on the 30th or the 20th or the 6th. I'm assuming they're going to give us an advance notice. I would hope that they would give us an advance notice because I'd like to schedule a little vacation time off for that. But who knows what the hell they're going to be doing. I'm going to wrap this up. So all in all, this article really seems to be, in my opinion, a sort of a damage control for Diablo Immortal. It really seems like that's what this is. They basically decided that after Diablo Immortal launched, and they saw all the negative feedback of Diablo Immortal, all the specific insults to the way the game, like corralled you into doing things, how it had, specific monetary ways of improving the power of your character, all these other things that necessarily, weren't a good idea. This article is literally going through the process of going, we're not doing that, we're not doing this, we're not doing that over there. That thing that you saw in that game, we're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that. And then they double down and are like, and we're definitely not doing that thing we said we're not doing earlier, but we're definitely not doing it again. And then we're definitely not doing that either. And then we're, that thing we were talking about earlier? Yeah, we're definitely not doing that. And I felt like that was the whole article, was literally them just going, we're not going to sell powered items in the shop. It's only going to be cosmetics. We're not going to force you to do anything. We're not going to use deceptive tactics. We're not going to hold you down and tattoo you with a barcode and sell your soul to the devil. Okay, maybe we'll sell your soul to the devil, but... I mean, there's a little bit of information in here that's not, like, hey, this is not a game that's a cash shop. This is not there's a little bit more information than that in here. The season journey is definitely new information. I mean, that's new information. I mean, this is just recycled crap, but this isn't new information either. So if you guys haven't seen the video that goes over this, this is old information. This is kind of what they showed us already. It's just kind of a new screenshot of the same old information. I am kind of interested in what this is. Something called glyphs. I'm pretty sure they explained that in the previous patch notes, or not patch notes, sorry, the quarterly update. They explained it in the past quarterly update. Something about them being like glyphs of power or something. And you have to obtain them to do things. I'm not really sure how the glyphs work. I'm sure this is going to be something that we're going to have to explore in detail. I mean, I'm going to be making Diablo 4 content. You guys got to know that. Like, it's a brand new game. It's a Diablo game. I make Diablo content, And by the time Diablo 4 comes out, I'm probably going to run out of Diablo 2 content to make, so gotta go somewhere. What are you doing, Kubus? You better not be chewing on nothing you're not supposed to, sir. Yeah, I think that's just about it. If you guys haven't seen my item pack, I'm going to plug my item pack one more time before I end this. I did recently come out with a item pack for Diablo 2 Resurrected. It is a completely new item pack, basically, from the old Kingpin's item pack that we used to use with Hero Editor. Quite honestly, it is just chock full of goodies. I've actually been improving it even more, believe it or not, since I originally published it. So there's even more new features in the item pack that were not in the item pack before. Sorry for your blinded eyes. So this is my item pack, and I've actually added some new things in here. So for you Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction users, those of you who have not upgraded Diablo 2 Resurrected, and maybe you wanted to get your hands on the new rune words, but you didn't really want to mod the game or do anything crazy like that, I have a special section in here for you Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction users. It's basically called mock rune words, mock meaning fake. They're not real. So before you guys, and I've had this happen before, like scream out at me and go, but that's not a rune word. It's yellow and it has extra sockets and it looks weird. Like, okay, look, I understand. It's not a real rune word. It's a fake rune word. Okay, these are all mock rune words. Okay, but you can use them in Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. That is one of the beautiful things about this, is that I have basically created a huge plethora of the new rune words that don't exist in Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction that you can then use in Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction and have fun with, so that you're not left in the dust. For those of you who maybe don't have a computer that's powerful enough to play Diablo 2 Resurrected, or maybe your mom won't buy you the game. Whatever's going on, I got you back, okay? I've also made a couple more improvements to the pack since I uploaded it. One very simple quality of life feature that I have changed is I enabled the rune words to be in every single rune word folder. So if you're specifically trying to create a rune word, and let's say you go into the Kingslayer folder, and I don't have the Kingslayer in a conquest sword like you want it to be, the runes for the Kingslayer rune word are in the folder, so you don't have to go hunting for them. You can just pull it right up right there. That's a small thing I've changed. I also added a ton of new crafted items into the pack as well. So I spent an entire day basically just crafting things like caster amulets, blood amulets, safety amulets, caster belts, caster boots, blood gloves. Give you guys a good like assortment of items past just like the regular crap, you know, instead of just the unique items. And I'm sure there's some other things in here. I also fixed a couple bugs since I posted the items, including there was a couple of rune words that were kind of messed up. But other than that, it's still maintained pretty much the same thing. You can also obviously get all my characters in here too. Those are all here available for you if you want to play around with my characters. I've got literally way too many characters. Like both my LOD characters and my Diablo 2 Resurrected characters are in here. So if you want to play around with my Diablo 2 Resurrected characters, I do note though that most of my characters have been extremely messed with. Testing purposes, items swapped back and forth. None of them are to be taken like super seriously as far as you know, like how you build a character. All right, guys and gals, it's been fun, and I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I do the Diablo 4 quarterly update. I'll probably be on later today to play some more Diablo 1, I think is what I was planning on playing. If you guys want to join me, it is an open play multiplayer Diablo 1 So you're more than welcome to join me in the Diablo 1 playthrough. I believe I just hit Nightmare difficulty, and I'm level 20. Although we can always dupe you some items and and get you some stuff, because we are cheating very badly. We are super cheating, extra cheaty. We're like, we just cheated up a storm, I can tell you. But that's Diablo 1 in a nutshell. Diablo 1 is a very cheaty game. Let's see if there's any comments from you guys in chat before I leave. It's still a cosmetics, has no impact on the gameplay, just like PoE. We just need to wait till the game release, and we're gonna know if it's bad or not. Floating monster dog. That's right, floating monster dog. I hope they add more content for Hell and finish the last 3 quests. Yeah, for Diablo 2 Resurrected, Hell is definitely a room. I feel like Act 4 is room for improvement. They could totally add some more stuff in there. I don't really see why not. It was definitely an unfinished act, and it could definitely use 3 more quests. And I'm sure they could come up with something. Even if it's just like filler. Like an anime. Filler anime, right? The posted file says V1, even though it's been updated. May want to tweak the version whenever it's updated. I can't really do that without changing the download link, and that's part of the problem. Every time I change the download link, or I change the file name, it will change the download link, which is an issue. And I don't want to change the download link because I want it to be spread kind of like all over the place. But anytime somebody downloads it from the original download link, it's the new version. It's never going to it's never going to be the old version. So every time I have updated the pack, I've completely erased the old version, and the new one is the one that's available. I believe there is a version indicator as well. So like when you go to the item, it does tell you that it's been updated. I can't remember where. It's been a little while since I've seen it. It says modified, created, opened by me. Like there's like a little version indicator every time I upload it. It tells me like what version I'm on. I think I'm up to like version 6 at this point. I'm pretty sure it's version 6. Every time I make changes, I'll just go ahead and upload them. I'm not gonna wait because I want the most up to date file to be proliferated. I actually pay for one of the cheaper versions of Google Drive, so I don't think I'll run out of bandwidth anytime soon. Plus, I'm sure people have downloaded it to other programs or other servers at this point and are proliferating it, which is fine. I'm not really worried about it. I pretty much expected that it would go like all over the internet and people would download it. Hellfire is not multiplayer, Zostron, so you can't really do that online. It's the GOG version of Diablo 1, and I use Hamachi or TCP/IP. Hamachi is how we're connecting over the TCP/IP. So if you want to have it ready for tonight, when we start doing the Diablo 1 stream, you need to make sure you got the GOG Diablo version. I believe the GOG version is version 1.09. I mean, if you can match version 1.09, then you can probably join us. But the good old games version is 1.09. It's $9.99. It's not that expensive. I was actually going to gift it to a couple people if they would join us, but nobody was around. We did have a pretty good game last night, though. We had 4 people at one point, and we were at 3 people for most of the night playing multiplayer, which was pretty fun. That's one game I would really like to see with a remaster is Diablo 1. Diablo 1 could be very fun with a remaster. I'd love to play around with Diablo 1 and just have fun with it. I'd also like to see them get the duping under control, especially online. I feel like the solo single player, who cares? Do whatever you want. Dupe as much as you want. Nobody cares. But I think the online part of it, if they could lock it down and make it more like Diablo 2, so the single player was like Open BattleNet, and the online was more like Diablo 2, where you have your characters stored on the server, Diablo 1 could be very interesting in a multiplayer scenario. I'd have a lot of fun making videos on that if they came out with a like a Diablo 1 Resurrected. I could totally see that. In fact, I'm not even sure why they haven't come out with a Diablo 1 Resurrected at this point. Yeah, it's like the godly plate of the whale or something. It's believe it or not, some of the best items in Diablo 1 were just blue items. They were just like something of the stars, or you know, like they usually had all stats. It was like plus all stats with something like plus all resistances, or like plus HP, or like lots of defense. They were all very kind of generic items, and they were duped really heavily. Actually finding one of those godly plate of the stars or whatever it was or godly plate of the whale, or I can't even remember, was kind of impossible. But you would often find them. Like when you went online, people would trade them to you. They'd give them to you. They'd drop them on the ground because they were all duped. Like almost everything was duped in Diablo 1. It was a game full of cheaters. And even if you didn't cheat, you got contaminated by the other people who cheated. That's just how Diablo 1 was. You're like 10 years old duping items. People were editing their character files literally to the point where they were like teleporting around in town and like PKing people in town. I distinctly remember dying on many occasions in Diablo 1 at very unfortunate times while I was like talking to Adria in town, which you're not supposed to be able to kill people in town. But literally I'm just talking to Adria and I would just die. And then I'd try and run back to my body and die again. And there wasn't even anybody around me. Like I would just die. Like somebody just typed in a command on the computer and they're just like, kill player X974, enter. And then I just die. Reminds me of the good old days in Counter-Strike where literally somebody would bind your fire button to the console command kill, and if you typed in kill in the console, it just killed you. So as soon as you like ran over and like tried to shoot at somebody, you would immediately kill yourself. And it was really funny, like a form of self-punishment that they would do in Counter-Strike. Because like say you had somebody who wasn't supposed to be shooting anybody, and you know like you had like a blanket rule like no shooting. Like, no shooting anybody, no shooting, right? And then you, like, bound everybody's button to kill themselves. So as soon as they broke the rule to fire at somebody, as soon as they clicked the button to kill somebody, they would kill themselves. So it was, like, self-imposed punishment. And you just sat there and giggled because you knew that they literally tried to kill somebody and they got what they deserved. They got what they deserved. All right, guys and gals, it's been fun. I'll be back on later. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. And Cody the Monster Dog says bye.